And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, IWL Commissioner Alex G. And with me, as always, the CWL Commissioner, Mr. Anderson, BRO, NWL Commissioner, Matt Riley. How you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Fantastic. How are you?
You guys are awful, and I hate you. I just want to be clear on that. This is a special holiday edition. We'll be reviewing the holiday cycle in the IWAR. We'll get the show out a little early as a holiday present for all the listeners out there. So,
that's a little strong use of the word present there. This is where the bad Yankee swap gets. So.
Maybe a stretch, but
like with that present that you give your coworker that you don't really like, but you have to give them a present because you work with them.
Quick fun side fact.
I don't ascribe to that.
Have you ever worked someplace that did Secret Santa type thing or a gift, and they were gifted one item every year over and over again?
That happened to me at church.
Yes.
We had Stetson cologne for men from like the 1990s that was regifted every year, and I got it, and then I gave it. It got taken from me at the Yankee swap, and I was so mad. Because I was like, I actually have Stetson cologne. I'm looking at it right now, a bottle of it. Because I'm that kind of cool.
When I was a kid, we used to do a grab bag in our church basement every year. And for 5 years in a row, I got fucking Parcheesi. And I'm pretty sure my mom just gave it back because I never played with it because it's fucking Parcheesi. And I kept on getting it every fucking year.
Let me count.
Weren't you picking the boxes every year?
I just put my hand in the bag and I would just take whatever's in there. And it'd be the fucking Parcheesi.
Stop picking the same size box.
Well, I was like fucking 5.
Can I tell you, my Santa...
I was hoping it was the Ninja Turtles board game, but it never was.
No. I have a deep-rooted hatred for Santa because when I was like 5 or 6, we went to a community event, and Santa was there giving out gifts, and I was the last kid in line. I was being polite, let everyone go ahead of me. And when I got to Santa, there was a big kid in front of me. First it happened, the kid walked away, and Santa didn't realize I was there and started like turning to ignore me. Mm-hmm. And then he realized I was there. He reached into his bag and he had run out of presents. So he went to the tree. He went to the tree and gave me a candy cane. So
fuck Santa.
And you're like, I don't want this freaking candy cane.
The other kid got a fucking G.I. Joe. And sitting there with a fucking candy cane.
Kids were getting like, boxes and wrapped presents, and I got a candy cane. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not bitter.
And you're like, you owe me big, Santa.
I still have that candy cane. I sharpen it every Christmas Eve. You're going to get yours, fatty. So anyway.
Pay what you owe, Santa. Pay what you owe.
Right.
So, like I was saying, this is the holiday cycle in review. And we're going to start off with the IWL. Cycle number 97, League Champion. Robbie Blood, Television Champion, Ali Atari, New York City Champion, Scott Farkas, Los Angeles Champion, The Orphan Crippler, Boston Champion, Captain James Braddock, Detroit Champion, Grover Dill, Cleveland Champion, Graham Underwood, Dallas Champion, Taken, Kara Business, Memphis Champion, Cade the Scorch Weller, Miami Champion, Kennedy Cage, San Francisco Champion, Princeton, Chicago Champion, Johnny WrestleFest. Tag Team Champions, Taking Care of Business, Strictly Business. TV Tag Team Champions, Grant Underwood and Kennedy Cage. Six-Man Champions, Frederick Xavier, Graham Underwood and Kennedy Cage. TV Six-Man Champions, Shocker, Jimmy Electric Princeton and Graham Sabrosa. So, Alex G, what's going down in the IWL? Well, this month's cover to Post, you see the Goons for Hire. That's Robbie Blood and the Orphan Crippler, so check that out. That's pretty cool. We also have a wrestler spotlight of Luther Alexander. Guys, if you want your wrestler to be spotlighted in this area, please let me know. Send me a bio on your wrestler, and I will include it on the very next issue of Post to Post. Our next event after Starrcade, because we just had our Starrcade events, will be Soul Survivor. So we'll get more information on that as the cycle goes on. Again, if you guys owe me write-ups for Starrcade, please get them to me sooner rather than later so I can put those together so I can do the pay-per-view write-ups for that. So just keep that in mind, please, and thank you. So, Matt, What do you got in terms of TT for the IWL?
Well, I will start off with Senya Lucha, who is building up his big showdown with Luther Alexander. A loser leaves the IWL match
Forever.
And this is a legit match. It's happening. And Lucha's trying to take aim at being the one man to deliver justice to the man who's never had justice served to him, Luther Alexander. So their long building collision is finally coming to a head. So
yes.
He's got Atari in his corner, and it's going to be quite the event.
Indeed. Mr. Anderson, what do you have?
Well, the Chaotix are talking about their Starrcade matches also. Kennedy Cage talking about how he and Graham are going to win the tag titles. Erica Rockwell is talking about how Cage is also in the Elite 8 tournament. Frederick Xavier is looking to leave behind his embarrassing loss of the Pan American title and win the Bunkhouse Stampede. Graham Underwood is looking to retain against Winston Smith and keep him from leaving the IWL with the title. And then he finishes up by responding to Barry Stevens, who hit Graham with the thoughts and prayers punt. He basically says, I'm going to eliminate your option to stand at all.
Nice.
So he's going to give Barry the permanent option of taking a knee.
Fantastic. We have a attack by the masked men, who to be revealed as the American Savages, Hank and Buddy. So they went after Haruki Fuji. They did some dastardly deeds to the War Goddess, and they called out Lockdown. And I think they ended up leaving the IWL, but that's just a rumor that I heard. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll see. We have the Backstabber. Now, I once knew a guy who was a front stabber, but he's no longer around. So,
oh my.
Yeah, there you go. A return to TT from Dr. Slam. Nice to see him back. He's with his good friend Bubba Bedfender. They're talking about the Phoenix, and their match over at Starrcade. So, again, we're excited about that. We have Tim Riggins III. He's calling out TJ Relic and what have you. And that should be fantastic. And then I think my favorite TT of the cycle overall. Again, this guy does such great work, and it's Cade the Scorch. I love the little line at the bottom that says Grover Dill finds himself in a pickle.
Yeah.
What was the one about the Goons? That
this
one.
Is the Goons for Hire
too.
Forgot that they already have jobs as wrestlers in the IWL. So I love this.
That's all.
I love this, so it's fantastic. So, that's what's going down in the IWL currently. Just in brief overview of the TT. Again, we have Soul Survivor. That will be our next pay-per-view. It'll be a $1 entry fee for that. So make sure you get those entry fees to me sooner rather than later. Send them to the IWA so you'll be included. Again, the winner will get 100% of the prize pool. So if you get 30 wrestlers entered, it'll be $30 in IWA credits. That person will also receive a shot at the IWL Heavyweight Championship at a future pay-per-view. So
I was just going to ask, is Soul Survivor going to take place in Cycle 100?
I want to try. I don't know if it's going to work out that way. I would like it to. Because Cycle 100 is not that far away. So we're at 97 now. It might be... I'll think about it. It'd be neat, though. Because realistically, it probably should take place in Cycle 101 unless I move it up. But I think overall, the TT
101
was
is good too.
Overall, the TT over the IWL was pretty strong this cycle. Again, we don't have a new influx of talent via the draft. They'll be coming in shortly. So again, don't forget that if you guys owe me write-ups for Starrcade, please get those to me. I'm not going to go over the results of Starrcade, but if you look in the bulletin, you should see them on your own. So, but I think it's going to be a fun show. All right. Next up is the CWL. League champion Joe Boring. TV champion Liam Larkin. United States champion Big John Stone. Yukon champion The Philosopher Elijah Davis. Caribbean champion The Nightmare Johnny Carnage. Amazon Basin champion Dragonheart Ray Converse. British champion Bookworm. Arabian champion Bruce Inferno. South African champion Peter Cross. Siberian champion Marcus the Monster Monroe. East Asian champion The River Dancer Mike Collins. Oceanic champion Friend Zone Frederick Goodfellow. Tag team champions The Philosopher Elijah Davis. The River Dancer Mike Collins. TV tag team champions Doug the Light and Beautiful Midnight. Six-man champions The Philosopher Elijah Davis. Lubrious, Lauren Order, the River Dancer Mike Collins, TV six-man champions Peter Cross, Bill Bonecutter, and Bob Bonecutter. So, Mr. Anderson, what's going down?
Well,
Nothing.
a lot. We're coming out of our nuclear warfare. The results are in the bulletin. Thanks again to all the managers who contributed to that. I thought it was pretty cool. Those of you who still get paper bulletins may notice, I wouldn't even call it an Easter egg, but as you open up your bulletin, you'll notice that the first 2 pages of the nuclear warfare pay-per-view kind of create one picture, and then the 3rd and 4th page create that same kind of background with the destruction. So that was just a little something for the paper bulletin fellas among us, which I think
you can see it on the PDF.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can, but unless you line up the 2 pages, anyway. So that was awesome. Starting in 2019, starting next cycle, stable initials are allowed. So throw those stable initials in front of your wrestler's name. I noticed that we have, some of our new draftees coming in, and they have their stable initials, so they're welcome to keep them. Assuming we're going to talk about combustible elements later, just a quick note, the new contenders tournaments for both the Continental title and the first rounds took place. We'll see those updates. As a reminder, in order to qualify for the Continental number 1 contender tournament, you have to trash talk 4 out of 5 cycles, and then you have to be in the top 32. This time we had a full slate of 32,
nice.
Which is awesome. And then for our Tantum, you have to trash talk at least every other cycle, and we had a full slate of 16 enter that tournament, which is awesome. The people who do not win in the first round of the Tantum go to the Deluxe Tantum, kind of the consolation bracket there. So those are on the Facebook group. They'll be in the next bulletin, and we'll see those next rounds taking place. Kind of the other big thing that happened, you probably heard me being pretty giddy about it on the Facebook group. We had over 100 cards this cycle, which is awesome. So that means that managers that take a match deal may take an additional 10 free matches for each match deal they do. So if you do 1 match deal, you get 10 more matches to pick whatever you want. They don't have to be scrub matches. If you do 2 match deals, you get 20 free matches, whatever you want to do. You want to challenge champions, you want to do some tag matches, you want to wrestle scrubs, up to you. So hopefully that will be pretty incredible going into the new year. Alex, what did you have for your TT?
Again, my love affair with the Blazer Corporation continues. They're in the CWL now, and they're basically, doing their thing. I mean, they're in their quote unquote next chapter, and they're going to go against the cream of the crop in the CWL, and they did give a quick shout out to Luther, the Rebel Warriors, and Dixon Ticonderoga. They're very excited to get in the ring with these guys, and not for nothing, Mr. Anderson, apparently the catering in the CWL sucks. So you may have to get on that and fix that.
Got to step it up. Step up our catering game, no doubt.
But the Blazer Corporation,
right.
if you looked at any of their stuff in the NWO, these guys are fantastic, and I look forward to see what they can do here in the CWL moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Pretty excited. Matt, what'd you have?
Well, speaking of new additions or returning ones, I enjoyed the work by John Body. I always feel it's a good thing to arrive in a league with a mission or a goal, so you kind of have something to build around. Like we often talk about, some of the players about like hitting writer's block or, trying to find something to write about. And I think if you have a goal, an overall arcing goal, so John Body comes out and calls out Victor Von Schnapp, who they had mixed it up before in the past. So, kind of calling out Victor Von Schnapp, who, if you read the TT, you kind of get a sense of where he's leaning towards. And those of you who know me know what's going on with my wrestlers. So he kind of trying to set up a big challenge with a gigantic old school fight poster with Body versus Victor, which I always think of the old, was it Rocky 3 or Rocky 4 where they had the giant poster of him and Drago?
Yeah, there was a poster. There was actually a poster in all 4 movies.
Oh, I'm thinking, wasn't the one with like a big banner hanging down?
That was Drago in the banner.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So that would have been Rocky
that's
4,
fine,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know you're a big 4 fan. I'm a big 3 fan, but they're both great
I
movies.
love Rocky 4 just based on the music. It is the montage Rocky because it's chock full of montages.
There's no easy way out.
That's a good song. Robert Tepper.
Is that the one? Is that the one where he goes to like the frozen tundra?
Yes.
The tundra montage is definitely the best one.
Mr. Anderson, I have a bone to pick with you. You've never seen Bloodsport.
What's up?
You've never seen Bloodsport.
I have never seen Bloodsport. I apologize.
Can we make that a mission? Like, can you get that done this week? I will send you a copy.
Is it on Hulu or Netflix?
Most likely, it's on one of those.
If it's on Hulu or Netflix,
I can send you a copy in a Google Drive, so you can watch it.
Send it on over.
Or you can go on the Facebook page because I think I screened that movie on the IWAR Network page one time.
You did. Remember, I watched it and then you put it online. And it was like, yes.
You were scarred for life.
Yes.
So, a couple that I just want to highlight real quick. Barry Stevens, very entertaining again. Disappointing kids. He kind of leaves it at like none of the heroes show up. None of the heroes are going to call him out. I talked about Dan Maggot last time. A really good intro. I thought Dan Maggot had a really good follow-up. Peter Cross. Funny as always. Talking about how he's #1 contender now. And the just the shenanigans he gets into. We had another kind of cryptic message this time. Let me find it. It says, we will be returning to the CWL next cycle. Be prepared. So if this is
the return of Che Guerrero.
Possibly. I think the first one talked about claiming what was theirs. I think the next one talked about the Continental title. And then this one says they'll be coming back. So we'll see, hopefully, what's going on there. It says they're coming back next cycle. 2 of the ones that I wanted to highlight a little more was the Agents of Redemption, having won the 6-man titles, and Gideon and David kind of having some more things to say this cycle. You know, how they're not different people now, right? They're just on a different mission now. So that's very cool. Ethereal Guardian kind of sounds like he might be focusing on being their 6-man partner, and he's pretty not I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I wanted to say non-committal, but that's not the word. He doesn't seem to want to comment on these growing issues with Elijah Davis from The Educated. So we'll see kind of what brews there. There may have been an attack by The Educated this cycle that'll probably garner a response. The other one I wanted to talk about was the Midnight Society. They kind of throw a bunch of like one-liners out. If you haven't read it, it's pretty funny. McFleece talks about his IWL Grand Prix title. Then he talks about Mike Mason and Luther Alexander. He talks about the Monroes. He talks about Dixon Ticonderoga. He talks about River Dancer. I mean, Joe Boring. He's like, the champion is Joe Boring. So it's just a really funny read. I enjoy the funny stuff that breaks it up a little bit. So those were kind of the highlights that I had.
All right, fantastic. Next up is the BRL cycle number 525 league champion, winning $50 in IWA credits. Sinister Steve Stryker, TV champion Sir Gunter Kinderwa, Atlantic champion Mr. Blood, Central champion Severus, Dixie champion Wolf, Eastern champion Apocalypse, Mountain champion Crusher Vicious, Northern champion Ghost Lee Shadows, Pacific champion Thrash, Prairie champion The Shadow Warrior, Southern champion Jimmy North, Western champion Phantom Striker, tag team champions Sabretooth and Wolf, TV tag team champions Colonel Dirk Vanderbeck, Sergeant Dagger Vanderbeck, 6-man champion Sabretooth, Crusher Vicious, Wolf, TV 6-man champions Britta Cole, Becky, Patrick O'Malley, and Agent 26. So Matt, what's going down? The BRL.
Well, there's a lot going on. Battlecade 13 is in the books, and in this bulletin, we have a lot going on. Before I get into that, one quick little thing. Jimmy North won this cycle's Battle Royal. And the reason that's important is starting next cycle, January, the winner of the Battle Royal will earn the IWAR Credit Prize. So Senator Steve Stryker won it this cycle. He also set the record for most BRL League championships ever won with 11, which is really impressive considering his run. So that $50 prize went to Stryker, but next cycle, if Jimmy North wins it again, the Battle Royal that is, he will be that much richer. So enjoy that. So what's going on? Well, so much going on. Battlecade itself was a huge event, and I will skim through some of the results very quickly to give you an idea of what's changed, because there was some rather horrific events that occurred at this event.
Someone died.
Just about. The fella named Punk Rock Mike, who is the leader of the Suburban Hell Savages, there was a showdown. The main event was actually broken into multiple matches, and it was a match series where each match was worth 1 point, with the main event being worth 2 points, which was a Hell in a Cell between Punk Rock Mike and the leader of Suburban Hell Savages and the leader of the Disciples of Doom, Ghostly Shadows. So the points broke down pretty close, except that final match is going to decide who wins the event. And Ghostly Shadows won when the match was stopped after he chokeslammed Mike through the top of the cage onto the mat and broke his neck.
Shit.
So Mike is currently laid up, being told he can't wrestle anymore. So there's that.
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh, poor Punk Mike. We had some other results. We're trying to think where to start. I won't go through all the events, but there was a gigantic Survivor Series match with Jimmy North, El Dragon de Oro, El Barbero, and Willie the Love Gun, also known as Gato Nation, taking on Alexei Smirnov, Jake Scarlett, the talented Max Ridley, and Phantom Striker. Now, for those paying attention, know that throughout the year, Jimmy North came back from a severe knee injury, was limping most of the year, and he had helped sort of Dragon de Oro, who was part of Russian Roulette, who stopped wanting to rule break, wanted to do things the right way, and that didn't sit well with Russian Roulette. There was the difference of opinions and some rivalry there, ugliness. So Jimmy took his side and helped him, and he lined up with these guys. So if you go into the bulletin, the actual write-up for all of Battlecade is in the IWA Ringside magazine. The match for this particular Survivor Series match is in the Trash Talk.
Nice.
And it's 2 pages, and it's phenomenal. And I won't give it away, but you should really read it, because you will see a shocking finale. And this is one thing I'd actually like to push a lot more players to do, because some people say, oh, can I write up a match? And the problem for a long time was I would get one write-up that was a paragraph, another write-up that's 2 pages. So the disparity kind of was really huge that way. I don't mind doing either, but I'd like to start doing a thing where we can have the matches appear in full-length write-up in the bulletin. So put that in your pipe. But the Battlecade main event was really epic, and the trash talk that Mike wrote to follow it worked well. I asked a lot of the players to write kind of post-match TT, kind of a New Japan Wrestling press conference style format. So there's a lot going on. We had a lot of trash talk this cycle, about 20-odd pages of trash talk. Yes, that's right, 20-odd pages.
Thanks, Catfish Rob.
Yes, Catfish was about 10. Well done. There is a lot going on. So what stood out to you, fellas?
I want to talk about R.A. Rude and Team Arrogance. Now, he's calling out Frank the Leatherman Snow, and he's basically saying that it's no longer 1988, it is 2013. So it looks like we have a start of a rivalry between R.A. Rude and Frank the Leatherman Snow. Let's see how Frank deals with this gentleman. I think he's not going to have some kind words for him next cycle. So I'm excited to see where this goes for them, because I think this is a good little rivalry here. So I'm really happy to see this. Mr. Anderson, what do you have?
Well, there were several that I could have picked. The one I ended up settling on was the Ghost Stories by Ghostly Shadows.
Yes.
He probably had my like favorite 2 lines out of any trash talk in the entire IWAR. He says, the BRL is my chessboard, and every chessboard requires pawns that can be sacrificed. Sometimes the sacrifice depends upon the whims of the player, other times the strength of the move in play. Welcome to my game. And I like felt chills. I'm like, ooh, I would not want to mess with this guy.
Tough
I wouldn't even want
words
to be
from
on
a
this
tough
guy's
man.
team. I'm going to be a pawn. He's going to sacrifice me. I don't even want to be on his team. But it was a really good, just a really good short, like to the point. And I would not want to be on the opposing side of Ghostly Shadows.
Did you know that Luther Alexander does not play chess, but he is the 2006 International Intergender Intergalactic Hopscotch Champion? So let's keep that in mind.
All right.
It does not surprise me that Luther does not play chess. No. It's an intellectuals game.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I will.
Boom.
I will tidy up that rest of the BRL stuff just to make sure people know that if they are not aware, a couple of things that are bonuses. You mentioned the CWL bonus. In the BRL, if you trash talk and you do a $12 match deal, you get an additional 10 scrub wins. So be sure to mention that and enjoy that.
Yes.
And also, anytime the BRL is over 50 cards, you get a 2-for-1 entry into the Battle Royal. And of course, we have the Triple Crown Challenge, which is now at 85 matches. If your wrestler wins the league, tag, and 6-man, they will win that pool of matches. So
nice.
Keep that in mind. I did a little reformatting, and you might notice if you're a BRL wrestler that we've already announced the WrestleRama pay-per-view will be in Amsterdam, and we're setting up that show. So please start setting up your feuds and matches and so forth.
It's going to be El Gato versus Luther in a litter box match. So
that's right.
It's going to be awesome.
I'd pay to see that.
I know you would because you're a sick individual.
You are not wrong.
Matt, did you want to go through the rest of the TT or what do you want to do?
Great promo from Hannibal. There is a lot of attacks by the DOD. So they're kind of raising havoc. A lot of challenges. The IHOP, International House of Pain, is calling out the Leather Brigade. There was a DOD meeting where they kind of talked about their plans. The Holy Family, led by Vanity, are really doing well right now.
I want to pause you there for a second. How gorgeous was Vanity, by the way, from back in the day?
Well, was your favorite Smurf? The one with the mirror, right?
No! You jerk. I'm talking about from the greatest film of all time, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Vanity's in that movie. She's the disciple of Prince. I know Mr. Anderson hasn't seen that movie.
The Last Dragon Vanity. I'm looking it up right now.
Show me your moves.
Well, I saw that LePage Turner called out Vanity as a Smurf, so that amused me. I like the latest picture of the stud villain Victor Kane running with a armbands and boots and a really broken hip/thigh bone knee. Oh man, this is always it's good because BRL is loaded with trash talkers, and we have more coming in. So as this becomes an even deeper field, it'll be even more fun. Oh, Bad Company with an inappropriate promo. The Suburban Hell Savage, the good post-event promo.
Their TT is always fucking rock solid every cycle.
And if you look at the picture, the bulletin or the online picture, the background is actually a snap picture from the Hell in a Cell where the Undertaker threw Mankind through the cage. So little use of space there. A nice Christmas reading promo from El Barbero and Gato, as well as a nice Santa Claus El Barbero with a Happy Kitty Gato. So, as always, lots of stuff being built up. I will say, I think one of the things to see what happens is that Adam Cash angered a lot of people when he DDT'd Lucy Lethal. So now Lucy's boyfriend, Chris Endgame, is angry and wants a match with him. And he's essentially said, if you want a match, you got to put up a date with Lucy. So what will he do?
Hopefully they won't give Adam Cash a wedgie.
That's right. No one wants that.
No. Gross.
All right, so there's more to come. So again, always send your trash talk. If you take the match deal, be sure to get those 10 extra scrub wins. Enjoy them.
All right. Fantastic. Next up is the NWL cycle number 124, league champion winning 10 free matches, the Chameleon. TV champion Victor the Possessed Amezabov. Atlanta champion Garrus Xanatos. Central champion the Greek Tycoon Penis. Dixie champion the American Patriot. Eastern champion the Mad Mama. Mountain champion Seth Adams Lee. Northern champion Dash the Lorian. Pacific champion Beautiful Blake Valentine. Prayer champion the Christian Warrior. Southern champion Josh the Beast Gordon. Western champion Friday Night Joe Fantastic. Tag team champions the Christian Warrior and the Chameleon. TV tag team champions Blade Runner Link and the Night Hatcher. Does he hatch things at night, or does he hatch people at night? Or is he a knight with a hatch? It's weird. I don't know what that means. Like, is he like, is there a suit of armor and it has like a back flap, like those pajamas? Because that'd be weird. A little bit gross.
I don't know.
Six-man champions, Friday Night Joe Fantastic, Beautiful Blake Valentine, Stunning Steve Larson. TV six-man champions, Mino, Slamborino, Idle Hands, and Insincere Paul Revere. But Matt, what's going down in the NWL?
Well, we have a lot. We're winding up towards the next Clash of Champions. This coming cycle, you'll notice, or if you know in the bulletin this cycle, you'll notice that we have a lot of stuff getting set up, and there's a lot of trash talk now. It's in a transition period, or some people are leaving the league and new people are showing up. So always be patient as people get used to the game. But wow, we have some strong submissions for trash talk from some of these newer players. I also want to make a quick note that I enjoyed the format of the Chameleon using a black background with yellow text. That really stood out.
Can't wait to see that in the IWL.
Yes. And, way to kill the ink printers. So I will talk about Seth Adams Lee. Now, Seth Adams Lee was on a real slump for a long time, and he's turned it around. It was good to see him with a second cycle in a row with a.
He's going to be a big-time player real soon.
Yeah, well, his trash talks improve by leaps and bounds, and I really appreciate that because it shows that people are putting in the work, and they're really picking things up. And granted, you have some really fantastic trash talkers in there now with Chameleon and Logan Kane.
PP Penis.
PP Penis. That's right. So Seth Adams Lee cuts a nice promo talking to the NWL universe about having a Merry Christmas. Lots of throwbacks to LePage Turner, who gave him a strategy to use. Demanding a last rites match at Clash 5, but I can tell you that won't happen because LePage Turner's already gone. Logan Kane, he makes fun of him. Talks about loser Josh Gordon, not the NASCAR driver. Just jumping around, he does a nice job of tying events to cards and matches in the previous cycle. So kind of referencing this match happened here. And you might notice if you're a newer player and you get a bulletin and you look through it, and you'll notice Luther Alexander defeated Graham Underwood, special guest referee Senor Lucha, and they might add a thing in there of who did what happened.
That never happens.
Nah,
Luther never beats Graham.
That's right. I'm using a hypothetical here.
I know.
But
hypodermic needle.
You'll notice that a good example. Seth Adams Lee's promos went from kind of like a paragraph to now they're like a full page. And it's expanded in its scope and its humor and its depth. So that's a really good example. I just wanted to kind of point that out. Is that learn from the players around you, and if you're not on the Facebook page, join it, and we'll get you in our NWL Locker Room Facebook group, where it's like not even a group, it's a chat group. So we just talk to each other. So it's a nice way to stay in touch, engage with the players, and interact with each other. So there's that. So what did you see, Alex G?
I want to talk about my new favorite wrestler name in the IWA, Dash DeLorean. If I could pick another wrestler name, I would have picked that one because I love that name. And Dash is the name of my dog, which is awesome. And I do have an affinity for DeLorean. So this guy claims to be a time traveler, which is awesome. And, he said the last time he spilled the beans, a whole lot of people got diarrhea, which is hilarious. I love that line. It's so good. Like the picture. That's actually a DJ that I like to listen to because I listen to that type of music. So
Yes, I know what it is.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So I look forward to see where Dash goes from here, and I think based on this TT alone, he's going to be a big money ball player real soon.
I guess it's my turn.
I sure is.
Right?
Yes.
I do want to mention that as I was reading Dashes, I was enjoying it, but I'm like, if he knows the future, then how does he ever lose? But he covers it in his very first promo. He's like, I'm predestined to lose certain matches just to keep the timeline in a certain way. And I'm like, slow clap, well done, good explanation. So in addition to that, I want to mention something. You had talked about how Seth Adams Lee had kind of made his promos bigger and smaller. I was talking with another manager this week about how your trash talk doesn't always have to be like the same size or same style. And we've talked about how it doesn't always have to be like in the same place, right? We've covered that a lot on the show. But just this idea of kind of keeping it interesting and keeping it mixed up. I like to use Lauren O'Dur as the example of like sometimes his trash talk is long. He's got a lot to say. Sometimes it's really short. So do what makes sense for your character that cycle, and don't feel like you always have to write short or you always have to write long or you always have to come out to the ring. Get comfortable kind of trying to mix it up. I think we all kind of get into a certain style, but don't be afraid to mix it up.
Use pictures, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, by the way.
Pictures are great. Yes, definitely pictures are great. If I can sidebar for a moment, I have been rightly accused of sometimes being too sensitive. However, I feel like it would be, it's true. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there was a promo in the NWL this cycle that I didn't particularly care for, and it had to do with kind of certain situations or making fun of certain groups of people that I don't think is necessary in the IWAR. That kind of stuff flies in other places, and that's their business. But I don't think that it's okay to kind of use certain marginalized groups as an insult. So if you want to do that, that's just as a special note for whatever it's worth. I don't think that's very cool to do. So that's my soapbox for the day. On a more positive note, I did want to talk about the kind of intro of Showtime Tommy Christopher. It's a good promo. Alex G is probably thrilled that he included his theme song.
I know.
He comes out and he talks about he comes out and he talks about how his brother used to be in the IWA about 20 years ago, but his brother never really kind of lived up to what he could have been. So now he's there to kind of live up to his family name.
He's the Joe Malenko to the Dean Malenko.
True, yeah. Yes, possibly, quite possibly. But he's very confident in himself, obviously calling himself the Showtime. He kind of talks about all the ways he's going to be successful and he's going to win. So looking forward to seeing what develops with Showtime Tommy Christopher, another guy with two first names, over the next few cycles. Oh, one more thing, if I may. We did talk about, and we've talked about a lot with how amazing this 2018 class was, right? I think that this is going to be like one of the smallest, if you want to call it a lull, like one of the smallest lulls in the NWL, because there are so many good rookies right now that even though, 3, 4, 5 managers are leaving at the end of this year, I think the NWL is still going to be filled with a lot of really good rookies right now. It's really amazing the level of talent that they are bringing. So kudos to everybody who is still going to be around in 2019.
I think it's, again, a good strong batch, focusing on telling a story and to kind of reiterate what Mr. Anderson said about that one promo that really kind of stood out as not the way to do a promo. I would, a general rule for any league you're in. If you're going to write someone else's wrestler, if you write if you write in a disrespectful way, it just makes you look like a jackass. It's one thing to say, I sneak attack them, I hit them with a steel chair, whatever, that's fine. But if you write them a certain way, which is just like ridiculous and not in character, it looks weird, and you're like, what's going on? And then you read more, and you realize it's obviously not that person's TT. And again, making juvenile attacks. I think, like good examples, Logan Kane and the PP Penis guy is straddling that line of the good taste / comedy, but it's in the game, and it's not crossing lines just to cross a line. It doesn't show much. It's like when a comic just leans on curse words a lot, and you go, well, what else they got? Like anybody can go up there and do that. Well, I would focus more on the feuds and stepping up the feud. Go throw out some sort of really fantastic challenge, make it worthwhile, do better. So we can do better than that. So make it happen. And to sum up the rest of the trash talk, if you will, always fun. I actually got half my bulletins, so I only got the NWL, but no trash talk. So I had to look it up online. We did see the final farewell from LePage Turner. We see a great promo from Josh Gordon, who really, again, references what's going on. He's got a feud with Seth Adams Lee. He talks about, changing wins and who he's beat. And it's good to, have an early rivalry with somebody, because when you're in the NWL, this is how you identify yourself. One of the big parts of NWL is not just learning how to play the game from a standpoint of strats and numbers and holds and drops, but learning who your characters are. Who's your wrestler? What do they want? What are they going to do next? And again, that idea of setting up a quest. It could be as simple as just, I want to beat this guy. I want to beat this guy bad. Or it could be, I want to win this title. And you may notice that in the NWL, if you go into the IWAR magazine, you'll notice that we changed up the main page for the news articles, and we talked about the Young Lions champion, the Rising Star champion. So, for example, those commissioner titles are run by the commissioners, so they're not officially recognized IWA championships. But we like to promote them because it's a title you can play for as an extra bonus. So Friday Night Joe Fantastic is the Young Lions champion. His Star Factory stablemates, the Heartbreakers, are the Young Lions tag team champions, and the Christian Warrior is currently the Rising Star champion. Yes. One thing we've added as a feature, we rebranded the Next Class Champions to call it Money in the Bank. What we're going to do is we're going to have a Money in the Bank ladder match. I'll select certain wrestlers from the actual NWL that Commissioner Jackson deems worthy, i.e. Trash Talk, and and you'll be in that match. Now, the way we're going to work this mechanic of the Money in the Bank is, in the NWL, the Young Lions Championship is determined by a 3-cycle series, just like the IWAR World Championship and the BRL Global Championship. So it takes 3 matches in a row where you kind of have 3 matches worth of strats to work with. What you can do, so if you're holding the Money in the Bank Championship and Joe Fantastic, has it, you can actually see, because we post the results of the scores in the bulletins, so you can see how the champ and the challenger are doing. You contact me, the commissioner, before the cycle plays, and you can say, I want to cash in my Money in the Bank, or I want to wait. And you can wait till you have 2 really strong cycles, and then cash in, or you can say, you know what, I had 2 bad cycles, I'm going to hold on to it. But it's adding an element of surprise that you didn't see there previously. So I really encourage you to check that out. And, of course, little kudos to the Chameleon, who pulled a 501 last cycle, which is, of course, the highest you can score. He pulled in the Gold Federation, he pulled in the Elite and the Metropolitan Championships. So well done. And then what's he do? He pulls a 500. Now, because we're doing this as an early edition, we don't have the end results and sneak preview from the IWAR report. I was like, IWAR report. But hopefully he'll pull some more gold in. So good luck to Chameleon. Well done. Hopefully those IWAR workshops we're doing on the Facebook group, another reason to join, is helping out, because that's 3 scores of over 500 in the last 4 cycles. So keep it up, guys. Great job.
Yeah, man, I dig that. So, Matt, what do you got for us in terms of IWAR news?
Well, as announced in last episode, Previously on the IWAR Tubecast, I am transitioning out as the IWAR commissioner. So we will be having a new IWAR commissioner. And if you read the the write-ups, you'll notice the Teamster was written off the air. So he'll be formally stepping down or being replaced as the IWAR figurehead commissioner by a new character, not run by me. So now is where we go. And now, introducing the new IWAR commissioner.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! What? It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Going forward, the new commissioner of the IWAR network of leagues will be Mr. Anderson.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I am so excited. I'm really excited to come on. So the figurehead, the Teamster, will be replaced by a new figurehead. I have kind of a front runner. It'll be officially in the next bulletin. Super excited to get started and transition in. Matt and I are working very closely together these next at least several more cycles to make sure it's a smooth transition.
Maybe you can tell them where to direct the hate mail to.
Yes, please. So for now, please feel free to direct the hate mail to Scott Anderson CWL at gmail.com. The Revolution title went to the last match. As previously mentioned, the Chameleon had a 500. And amazingly, Sinister Steve Stryker also had a 500, so they had a draw. We'll kind of wait to see what happens with the Revolution title. Right now, Graham Underwood would be the next challenger based on his winning the 6th annual Bound for Glory. We are going to take the January cycle and kind of pause, and then the next cycle after January will be the next Revolution title match. Kind of a couple things in play there we want to make sure we have figured out. The 4th annual ladder match battle royal, which if you haven't read it yet, it's a great read. It's a full page in the latest Ringside magazine. The winner, kudos to the Chameleon, winning the 4th annual ladder match battle royal. 11th tag team derby, won by the Von Schnapps and the CWL. Big coup for them. Good way to finish out 2018. They kind of had a struggle year for 2018. At least they felt like they did. I felt like they won an awful lot, but good win for them. And then the Triple D 6-man tournament, also won by the Von Schnapps. So I would guess that they will be in line for the next IWAR wide 6-man championship match. I did almost forget to mention, though, the combustible elements. We had our second round there. So just to read off the 12 wrestlers that have made it to the third round, which will take place on January 29th. Not next cycle, but the cycle after, January 29th. The 12 wrestlers competing on their own for a spot in the finals and $72 in credit. Aaron McFleece, Handsome Hollywood Star, Dixon Ticonderoga, The Chameleon, Pop Culture Peter Cross, The Bookworm, Friend-Zoned Frederick Goodfellow, The Mad Mama, The River Dancer Mike Collins, Johnny WrestleFest, Joe Boring, and Late Night Logan Kane. Congratulations to those 12 who survived both the wild 6-man round and the tag team round. Now they're on their own. So we'll see where that goes. Kind of just thinking about Ringside Magazine stuff going forward. I don't know if we want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Tease it. Okay. So Matt and I will be working closely together on any possible, adjustments, additions, subtractions, moving things around. So you may notice a few differences in your Ringside Magazine over the next couple cycles. So obviously any feedback is welcome. So we'll see. It should look the same, look primarily the same, but maybe a fresh coat of paint. on an already awesome magazine. So,
all right, fantastic.
Well, I will say this as a teaser. Soon we'll have another huge announcement for the BRL, gearing up to draw people in and have something really fun to work with. So stay tuned for that. And, yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, guys. I want to personally wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. So from all of us here at the IWAR Network, just enjoy your holiday season. So, all right. So for Mr. Anderson, for Matt Riley, I'm Alex